Welcome back to Hodge Podge. This Tuesday morning, continuing our special series with Becker County Energize and their partnerships around our community, talking about the good things they're doing, their work they do with area residents. And I want to welcome Joe Johnson to the show this morning, and he is with the Father Project. He is going to talk a little bit more about some of the work he is doing. Also, give us the story of how he got involved with Becker County Energize and how he helps communities heal through his work and with the help of Becker County Energize. Good morning, Joe.
Thank you. I am honored to be here.
All right. Well, Joe, tell us a little bit about yourself and the work that you are doing, about your program.
Awesome. I work for CHI St. Joseph's Father Project. So I work out of Park Rapids is my main site. And I have group locations in Walker, Bemidji, Detroit Lakes. And our role is to deal hope to fathers. And through dealing hope, which is step one, is to hear their life stories, learn their backgrounds, their history, what they're presently going through, and then meeting them there in that moment to help them. Maybe it's to see their kids. So we help them to understand that process in the courts. We get them involved with peer support. We hook them up with professionals. Maybe they're struggling with mental health, addictions. I call it the North Pole, South Pole spectrum, everything in between. If we don't do it, we're going to find somebody who can. And at the end of the day, we're helping fathers be engaged and loving to their kids. That's what's most important.
All right. Maybe explain to our listeners who are hearing about the Father Project for the first time and how it all started.
Sure. So the Father Project started actually back in 1997 or 98 down in Minneapolis on a national grant. And it was in 2010 and 2011. They decided let's expand. And they expanded in Rochester, St. Cloud, and then they chose little Park Rapids. And we are the only rural site for this. We actually have been nationally recognized for our work rurally. It's an anomaly, and I'm not saying that egotistically. It just truly is. And we've been going now in our 9th year. We've served over 500 dads voluntarily. And whether we worked with them for a week or some guys, I've worked with them since the doors have opened. We have seen great transformation in fathers being actively and involved fathers to their kids and loving to their partners and spouses.
Very neat. So talk about how people would contact you and at what point would somebody come to you and, invite your help or
Sure.
ask for your help?
Well, generally I'm the guy that comes in when they're already drowning and I have to pull them out of the lake. And I just say that as is because it's a very reactionary job, right? So I get the guy who calls me and he's like, Joe, I haven't seen my kids for a few months and they're hurting. And, it's hard. And I meet them where they're at and help them navigate. But really, I have guys who are happily married that said, I want to grow as a father. I have guys whose first kid is on his way and he says, Joe, I'd like to learn some skills of being an active dad. I really don't want to be like my father. It lies within them at any given time. Should they want to improve and just grow as a father, even if they don't even have a kid, but they're like, you know what, I would love to just get some skill set. If they're a foster parent, a grandparent, step parents, you're still being a fatherhood role model. And we come together to say, let's not just settle on being a good dad. Let's be the world's greatest dads. That's what our generation, and that's what we need for the future.
All right. And Joe, talk about the importance of this to the community and as a whole, and obviously involved with Becker County Energize as a partner, bringing it to kind of expanding in the area as well. But what is the importance of this, maybe personally and to the community?
Sure. Well, our fathers are the greatest, most underutilized tool in the world. We're here. And I always say that we've been pigeonholed as a 2Ps system, the providers and the protectors. But I know that I can hold my daughter's hands and give her a hug, and my sons, tell them I love them, and be there for them and nurture them, and not just pay the bills and not just work my job. And those are all part of, obviously, life. But when we sit down and we tell a man it's okay to express your emotions and not have to have it come out in anger, it's okay to come together with other men outside of a bar and drinking to say, how can I improve? How can I talk and feel comfortable? You know, we're not sitting holding hands singing Kumbaya. Some people think that. We're sitting down saying we're fathers and we want to gain that wisdom and knowledge so that our children becoming parents will be equipped with the skills we did not have. That's why it's important. We have so many that don't have the correct parental figure. And so even if you can take 2 hours out of your week to just come and take part in the system, that'll pay dividends long, long down the road for generations.
Great. And how did you come to know about Becker County Energize?
Well, I've known Karen Pfeiffer for quite a long time. And she, a number of years ago, asked me to speak at a summit. And I think it was last year or the year before. I'm not sure on the exact year, but they actually asked me to be the keynote motivational speaker for that session. And so I came in and brought my Hope Dealer session to all the professionals. And, I love what they do. I love what they stand for. We're about improving the odds and for everybody involved in our communities and having it be healthier. So what's not to love about that?
Right. I did hear you speak at one of those conferences, so that was very good. So I'm talking to Joe Johnson, and he is with the Father Project based out of Park Rapids in our area. And you also have a connection where if people need resources, they can go and look you up on the Becker County Energize website.
Yes, I believe we're on there. Otherwise, they can go to CHI St. Joseph's Health. There's a Father Project tab on there. I can give my telephone number here right now, if you don't mind.
Sure.
They can reach me anytime, 218-255-2063.
Mm-hmm. Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
So that's anytime. Text, give me a call. I'll talk to you.
Okay, and I just wanted to follow up with one more question too about, these times that we're in with the pandemic. Of course, it puts a strain and stress on everybody. How do you continue with your program? Are you continuing to meet virtually? And maybe some advice to people, kind of going through the process of connecting with their kids. Maybe they started that and all of a sudden this is kind of thrown at them. What do you say to people?
Ooh, that's a big question. And you're very right. I continue to have virtual groups during the week. I also do Facebook Live, and I do groups for individuals who want to chime in. They're always there, just about giving hope to individuals. My role essentially has become phone support. I mean, for lack of a better term, guys call me and we'll talk about the situations that are going on. A guy will call me and say, Joe, I'm not seeing my kids. What do I do? Well, courts may be closed, but here's where you can access the information. Let's walk through that. Let me talk to you about what they're asking. Even if it's just something, a sliver of something they can hold on to, like I said, a Zoom group, and they can see some other faces. It's still, still a group gathering. They can still hear some advice. I'm willing to do one-on-ones on the phone, video phone, whatever it may be. I think on average, I offer probably 25 to 30 hours a week sometimes in phone calls on just that there. And of course, we have individuals at home with their kids way more than they ever have. I mean, I've been working from home. My kids are having more now than they have probably their whole life at a stretch. And so learning how to navigate our frustrations, and I don't mean, like my kid's frustrated, but I'm a parent, right? We all get frustrated. I encourage, individuals, step outside, go for a walk, do some artwork, meditate, find that zone so that instead of reacting and you can't take it back, that you learn to dial yourself in and become aware. And that's stuff that I do, that I teach about. I teach those skill sets. I teach that awareness. I teach about how we work on our trauma and our ACEs so that we can improve ourselves. So again, they want to gain something, they want to jump in now, call me. I'm here.
Okay. All right. And you're working with people all across. I mean, you said you're in the only rural area, working through the Father Project. So, where do you reach? Where is your outreach? I mean, how far reaching do you go?
It's easier to say where I don't go. No, I have individuals from Beltrami, Bemidji, Walker, Onagon, Leech Lake, to White Earth, Moorhead, Fergus Falls, Park Rapids, and everywhere in between. Sometimes, like I said, when before COVID, if there was a struggle meeting, we would just find a neutral location and sit down and talk about our life stories. But now, your phone, I'm finding individuals a lot farther away that are looking up my information. And even if we never meet and they're not an active member, if I can still give them something, that's what I'm going to do.
All right, Joe Johnson with the Father Project on with us today as our series with Becker County Energize continues. And as Joe said, you can find more information about the work he does on the Becker County Energize website, or you can call him and find him. He's based out of Park Rapids, and a lovely area, by the way, to be. And anything else to add this morning as we wrap up here, Joe?
So, I thought about kind of this call to arms and what we want people to know. And I've been doing this for a number of years, and I present a lot to audiences and such. And I tell people what we need to do is we need to learn how to put on a different perspective, a different vision. We sometimes get narrow-minded on especially drug addictions, and we see it in our newspapers all the time, right? On Facebook and posts about overdoses and people losing their kids to drugs. It's literally every single day. And I've found that when you can meet someone, when you can understand and have empathy and compassion, when we can ask them what happened to you instead of what's wrong with you, when we know that someone doesn't voluntarily just want to get high, that they're coming from a place of pain, and we can acknowledge that, because at the end of the day, nobody grows from having a finger pointed in their face. That's the end of the deal. When we show empathy and compassion, it's not excusing what's happening. It's saying, I'm willing to walk with you through this pain, and I'm willing to help you grow, because if an adult and a person can get through that suffering and find a healing, their children will not be inflicted with those same wounds.
All right.
Thank you.
Joe Johnson from the Father Project. Thank you so much, Joe, and hope to see you around, maybe face-to-face someday.
You bet.
All right. You too. Joe Johnson wraps up our series today with Becker County Energize, partners with Becker County Energize. Tune in each Tuesday at 9 o'clock to continue this series throughout August.